Welcome to Season 3 of This Is How My Brain Works, the podcast about living, thriving, and laughing through the ups and downs of neurodiversity. We explore the real stories, the real struggles, and the real strengths that come with thinking differently.
Hello, everybody, and this is Sarah Hines, and I am joined by Krista, Gano, Jason Rudofsky, and Michael Collins for another riveting episode of This Is How My Brain Works. Today we're going to talk about something that I know I have experienced, and it's the 30% rule, where people with ADHD very likely take a little bit longer, maybe as much as 30% longer, for their executive functioning to come online. And I've actually heard some people say that neurodivergent brains don't reach full maturity until 27 or 28, unlike kind of your typical brain that the frontal lobe is finished developing about 25 years old, which, fun fact, did you know why car insurance companies and rental companies don't rent to someone under 25 years of age?
Frontal lobe.
Because the frontal lobe isn't fully developed until 25 years old. And that means that the risk assessment, i.e. safe driving, doesn't really come online until 25. So that's why rental car companies won't rent to you unless you're 25 or older.
That is really fascinating.
That explains why I can't even get a rental car.
They found out you have ADHD.
Yeah, I'm on their list. They're like, your frontal lobe is still developing, sir.
I actually remember being more excited to hitting 25 and being able to rent a car than I was at 21 to drink, because I don't drink.
Well, so. I mean, think about this. Like, if there's anyone who is on top of all of this, it's the insurance companies.
Yeah, because money and research.
Right. What do they call it? The actuaries. The way they crunch all of the things to make. Before this podcast, I was on the phone with an insurance company for like an hour. And I'm just trying to lower our homeowners insurance has gone like up literally like $3,000 over the last couple of years.
And listener, we are now pivoting to how expensive the insurance market is because we have ADHD and we like bright, shiny things.
Yeah. I'm just fascinated by like you cannot slip anything by the insurance companies, and this whole idea that they figured out this 25 thing, because I feel like, it's somewhat recent that we started hearing about more studies in neuroscience and when, the brain developing into the mid-20s, and now we're talking about this, ADHD brains being delayed even further. It's just kind of fascinating how they kind of have that information.
But I also think it's about, again, me, I hate the generalities of like this big swash of like, this is how it is. Because when I look back on my world, I mean, I would say that I was highly overdeveloped in terms of my intellect, my ability to manage certain situations, but my emotional life around I even look back now on dating my husband during those sort of mid to late 20 years, and how, I mean, granted, I think when you're 20s and you're also a theater kid, you're wired to have some of that drama in those relationships, but there was a lot of drama in those years that didn't need to be there, right? And I wonder, looking back now, with him being ADHD and me being ADHD, it's like how much of that was us just still trying to sort of figure out the emotional growth. So, I mean, I could have, in terms of intellect, not to toot my own horn on the intellect, but in terms of navigating school, grades, understanding, what was expected of me, showing up, being in mock trial, debate, student government, theater, like someone would look at me and say, oh, she's so responsible beyond her years. But then you look at how you could just gut me. A boyfriend could gut me with saying one thing and I was down a spiral for weeks, So I think you have to be.
But I think that that's actually more of the same, because what you're describing, executive function, is the thing that puts the unseen cues or clues together. And you just described all the things like school or a play where the rules are explicit.
Mhm.
So where there's an explicit rule, I am excellent and always have been, to your point, Krista, ahead of the curve
Yeah.
in following that rule or breaking it because it was stupid, because my analysis of these explicit known factors was
Right.
ahead of the curve. But where stuff was implicit, like that boyfriend, and frankly, the things that were explicit with boyfriends, I knew men were going to try to take advantage of me. So that never happened. But what did happen was other stuff. And probably
See,
it's
we
less.
had the benefit though of not having stuff in our hands to write a text right away when we felt something.
Yeah.
Like I would just have to get frustrated and write a note. You know, but I also, I guess maybe then let's talk, like, can somebody, because I think of executive functioning and maybe I'm wrong, could be wrong, but when I think of executive functioning, I think of that thing of like, I've got to make the call to make the appointment. I have to, it's
It's
that
more it's more
I
about
can,
managing impulses, regulating emotions, shifting your attention, and following directions. So it sounds like the following directions, when they're explicit, was not something that was you were a late bloomer
Well,
to.
so,
But
but, and then to that, like what Krista was saying, needing to write that text, executive functioning, part of executive functioning is self-control. So we talk about impulsivity a lot and how we're impulsive. That's a self-control thing, right?
mm,
And just to kind of put a finer point on this whole thing, ADHD executive age, I'm looking at this chart, and you think 30%, yeah, that's significant, but whatever. Actual age of 13 years, if you knock that down 30%, that's 9.1 years. If you're at 18, that's 12.6 years. If you're 40, that's 28 years. I mean, that's really significant. And a lot of my life I've spent like feeling that I do feel like there, and whether it's like an immaturity or a younger than, or like these people, even though they're my age, they're ahead of the game in some way. They understand something in some way, or like I'm acting in a more youthful manner. I don't know what it is. It's like, but that's significant.
but do you think that study is based on boys?
Probably
sorry.
like all the other research, right?
Because I don't find that that's my experience. I mean, because and as you're talking about women who are being diagnosed in their 40s after, the hormones are changing and we're balancing different things. I'm not sure. I feel like my executive in certain areas because of age, my executive functioning is much better. My impulse control is much better than it was when I was younger in certain ways, but my being able to look at my list and say, I need to pay that bill, make that phone call, do that thing. And then for some reason, just I don't know what the F is happening. I just can't seem to do it on certain things. And it takes me it's like, remember, I've talked about that woman on TikTok forever because she's gone away and it makes me so sad where she would do these things of like, I've put off making an appointment at the dentist for 6 months. Let's see how long it takes me. And you watch her and she's like, that took 3 minutes. And I so relate to that. For me, the older that the kids get, the harder that stuff is becoming.
But I think that's possibly getting into how they talk about like procrastination being an issue. I think that's getting into this dopamine
Mm.
space. I mean, again, we are not, certified mental health experts. We are speaking from our experiences. But I think
None of this is medical advice.
that kind of gets into this dopamine space, Krista. Maybe.
Maybe.
Jason, you've been chatty. What's happening? Please share.
I don't know. I mean, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Michael.
Well
I know
said.
I see other people and I'm like, is my executive functioning on par with my age and where I am? And am I like am I an adult who's able to take care of these things? And sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, everyone else can handle this. Why are these things slipping through the cracks for me? Why don't I remember these things? I've tried hacks,
But is that
and I
really
agree with
true,
Krista
Jason?
too. Huh?
Is it really true? I mean, I think too that listen, this and for those listening, cell phones have really, I think, screwed us up in some ways.
Well,
Because
of course.
like what we see here that other
They're
people
the
seem to have
worst.
their lives together, that's not true. Is this all true or is it also stuff that we're making up? And I think it's probably the answer is probably a little bit of both. Like, are you truly behind or are you just watching the
Well, I
mask of
can't
someone
I can't
else?
text with two thumbs. I'm still one finger situation. I don't know how
That's
people do the,
that's just generational.
That's a different kind of developmental
That's
challenge.
we're good. We're okay.
but
Jason,
you know what? I admit some of that stuff. Like I just feel like the computer age caught us at a weird time with our age group because we had passed that sort of moment of the knowledge of it kind of hit us at a weird time, late high school, college, right in there. And I've always, especially in the computer and technology world, I've always felt a little behind. And you know what? Now I'm like this. I don't even care. I'm like, someone plug in the TV, show me how that all goes. You want to play Wii or something? Got to set it up. I have no idea. No idea what to do. And then when it comes to all other computers and phones and all this stuff, I just, not that I give up, but I just put it in other people's hands when I just don't know exactly what to do. I'm like, go ahead,
well,
do
that's
what
a
you need to
choose
do.
your battles, and I don't know that you're missing out on much.
No, but there was a time like I'm getting to a point where I'm accepting it. I'm
Mhm.
not, I'm not beating myself up about it. I just accept it. I can't do certain things. And that's the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Are
As we
you
get older, I think we just sort of admit things, accept things. There, I know it's a little off the path, but people driving really fast. You know what I mean? It used to anger me. Now I'm like, you know what? Go ahead, have
Well,
fun, enjoy.
it angers me to the point where they're being unsafe
Yeah.
and it hurts
Definitely.
I
other
want
But
to
but
jump
not
before
back
it
to
was like, I'm
yeah.
going to cut in, I'm going
Oh
to
yeah,
block them
no.
off, I'm
Yeah.
going to do some stuff. Now I'm just like, goodbye.
Do you, friend? Do you, friend?
You
let me
do
jump
it,
back to
bud.
something real quick here because I think Krista's onto something with this study, and we learned um, the unfortunate reality of a lot of this ADHD research was done on predominantly male patients.
Boys. Yeah.
And so and I think when we first came up with this concept of this, how my brain works, we talked about how having some female co-hosts in here would be powerful and because we heard that it did present differently. Like ADHD, ADHD, autism can present differently in males and females. And so Krista, your reaction to like this executive age, saying, well, I'm not really feeling that as much. Like Jason and I are both resonating with it. You're not resonating with it much. Sarah, how are you? What's your take? Like your experience?
She made brownies, man. She's doing like 15 things at one time. She's got things going on. She's got her list of things she wants to eat and bake for the day.
I do. How did you know about that?
I knew.
Oh, I'm so excited. Um, I definitely think that there's a lot of overlap between boys and girls. So I do think that a lot of it is the same, but I think Krista's right because we've studied boys. An example of the difference would be just from a biological standpoint, if you take 100 male brains and 100 female brains at adulthood, the female brain is going to have a larger, I'm bad with which part of the brain it is, so scientists speak up, maybe amygdala or hippocampus, the part that deals with emotion and processing emotion. And the male brains are going to have a much higher, larger kind of spatial awareness part of their brain, which what that translates to is kind of for me, because I had that emotional bigger brain, I did take longer to develop with it. and miss cues that my girlfriends were getting before I was getting. But I was probably on a par with the average boy as a kid in understanding kind of the emotional cues that were happening around me.
But also, Sarah, the thing that they say presents differently with girls, and this is why it's so important, I think, to study girls, which I hopefully they are now, is that when they say it presented in us like perfectionism, following almost like more ardently following the rules and getting quiet and probably daydreaming. And let me and just from
I
a
was not a daydreamer, so no.
but no, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking, that's how they're saying it presents in girls now. And what I'm saying is that when you think about sorry guys, I'm going to hit in the patriarchy. When you think about the culture of the patriarchy, when girls get perfection, when they lean into perfection, get quiet, daydream, and um, and and uh, and follow the rules. That's what they want girls to be doing. That is what they're training us to do. So they're not going to label it as anything bad or look into it or see what it is. They're just going to, prepare the way for it to hand us some anxiety drugs at some point in our life. So I would just also say, like, we just don't know. Like, I think in some ways.
Well, I would say that's true, all of that. And then there's also the truth of we're not a monolith either. So Michael had asked me, do I resonate with this? And I resonate with it completely. Like one of the things that I cannot remember how many times I was told this, and I'm still told this, think before you act or think before you speak. I was definitely not a daydreamer. I was definitely the one that was climbing off the walls, having to be told to be quiet. Every report card said, Sarah's doing great, but she talks too much.
Talks too much.
Talks too much, never shuts up. So while I do think that everything you just said is true, and yeah, a lot of how ADHD or ADHD presents in girls are things that are to be desired by the overarching society, particularly a patriarchy. I think it's a both and. I think that I definitely experienced a 30% longer to develop my frontal lobe, both in ways that guys presented as and in the ways that you're describing, Krista, with following like I was both a super rule follower and angry and justice oriented when people didn't follow the rules, but also real mouthy, like right now.
Yeah, well, mine wasn't physical for sure. I mean, like mine's all in.
I mean, they knew me by name at the emergency room when I was a kid because I had gone in so many times with injuries that were bizarre and, like how I lived past 10 is beyond me. I don't know.
Two things. The hippocampus is larger in women.
I said it right.
It's associated with memory, among other things.
And what's the boy part that's bigger? Did you find that for us, Michael? Dr. Collins, he's not a real doctor, everybody.
Not a real doctor. The whining section of the brain? I don't know.
The Winnipeg section? Wyoming? It's the Wyoming part of the brain? I'm gonna look now. You
okay,
keep talking.
So this is the inferior parietal lobule.
He's a trained doctor, y'all. You could tell.
And he just admitted that men are inferior, so
associated with math.
Let the record reflect.
Oh, listen, it's associated with math and spatial reasoning. I wonder if that's why we always feel the need to pack the car. But
I'm a really good car packer.
Okay.
Me too. Me too. I love it.
I'm wondering when you look at like the ADHD, career paths. It's very like kind of non-conforming. It's a lot of creative. It's things that aren't regimented on that 9 to 5 a lot of times. And I wonder if this kind of development thing has something to do with that. Like I can make my own hours. I can, I don't have to adhere to this construct that these neurotypical people are able to kind of like conform to more easily at younger ages, while we kind of become, chefs and comedians and, like entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the
just a thought.
idea of the literally like you could tell me about a job. You could be like, "This is the best job in the world. It's a job that you've been waiting for your whole life," and I'd be like, "It is. It's so that this is totally the good job." And then they'd be, like, "You've got to be downtown Monday to Friday from 9 to 5," and I would be like, "Nope,
Yeah, that's
no,
not going to work
no, no longer the job for me."
with my brain, with how my brain works.
Like it literally, I can feel it's like if someone says it, like 9 to 5 did the office building with a sound machine, and it's as if the hand is coming right around my neck.
Yeah. Ugh. Is it? Is it
Yes.
getting? My chest is tightening. It's hard to breathe. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. I get that.
So,
That's
and it's
funny.
funny because I'll have people send me jobs and they're like, "Do you be great at this?" And I was like, "Not if it's in an office, 9 to 5."
Man, the only way I was able to to handle those types of environments is like because I was in an HR capacity, so I could just I was like I gotta go put out some fires. I was I was always out of my
I
desk.
gotta go do a walkabout. Gotta
Let
walk about.
me go see what's going on outside the building. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that was actually when thinking even back to my kids, one of the biggest things on that we had on their IEPs was that when they got overwhelmed, that they could leave the room and do a walkabout. And the agreement was they walked around the hallway or like the school or whatever and came right back to class. But just that idea that they could exit a situation and do a walkabout was the thing that helped make some of those situations bearable.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'd add a cigarette to that, and they can have one cigarette. It just seems like you know what I mean? Like I need a cigarette and a
You get a
walk.
Second
smoke break.
grade, the
That's
second
part of the
graders going out
IEP.
for smoke.
There's something about it. I don't smoke, but
Part
My
of
oldest niece
IEP
needs a
is
smoke break.
you can have a smoke
yeah,
break.
like he needs to walk around for about 20 minutes and he gets one cigarette. That in the IEP. I mean, doesn't it just seem like, I could use one. Just one is fine. Never smoked.
I
Um,
took up smoking when I waited tables so that I would get a break, actually.
yeah.
It's the only way to get it.
I'm the
Get
little
some
goody two shoes of the group.
Oh, I mean, it was like one cigarette when I was, yeah, no.
Don't drink, don't smoke. What do? You don't drink, don't smoke.
Rudy,
Name the artist.
any
Name the
parting?
artist.
Oh, Adam
Krista
Ant.
Gano.
Yes. Oh,
Adam
an
Ant.
ant.
Adamant.
Adam and the Ants. Adam Ant.
The Gen X reference of the day.
Yes. Well done. Well done. Well, as we wrap up this has been a very interesting episode. Anyone have any parting thoughts?
If it takes us 30% longer to cook, maybe we just give ourselves grace, everybody,
Oh,
because we get there. And
that's interesting. And it also takes us 30% longer to do things.
Right. Does it take us 30% longer to cook and to like, I don't know, get started in the morning too?
maybe I get 30% longer to sleep.
I have to say, I'll leave it on the, I do have to say, I give my youngest 30% longer just to sort of warm up in the mornings, probably on average of what
Yeah,
he needs. We have
that's
a whole
real.
routine. Like I walk through the hallway, I turn on the hallway light, which is a dimmer light. It's not a bright light. I open the door, and that happens 10 minutes prior to the wake up needing to really happen. And then I have a whole wake up because otherwise that kid will not move or wake up or get initiated in the day. He can't, he boots up at a different pace.
He boots up at a different.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so let's see here.
so
As we
now we
wrap
all
up.
know, give yourself, you could do the math if you're a math person, give yourself
Well,
30%
I'm not
more
even
time to get ready.
executively speaking, I'm not even 40 years old yet. This
Look
is
at how
actually
young we
this
are.
is actually pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, I want to know, how young am I?
I'm like
Not done
39.
now.
I'm like 39.
You are, Rudy. You're 38.5 years old.
Oh my gosh, I'm like 37.
You are a spring chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Doesn't
changes
it feel
everything.
good to have
That
neurodiversity?
changes everything.
That's
I
why you
love
look so young.
Well, Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Us youngsters here are gonna go do stuff now
Oh,
with
wait,
our.
wait. Does
Yeah,
that mean we're now millennials and not Gen Xers?
no, still Gen Xers, just in a
Thank
younger person's brain.
goodness.
Yeah, really. I was worried, man. I was worried. And
No
with
offense to
that,
my sister. Okay.
these four Gen Xers are signing off. We love you. We're so glad you listened. Reach out in the comments if you have thoughts on this and how you handle it in your life. And until next time, do you?
Do you?
If you like this episode of This Is How My Brain Works, please like, subscribe, and share. This podcast is the creative work of This Is How My Brain Works. It is not authorized for use in training, development, or refinement of artificial intelligence or machine learning systems. Any attempt to copy, analyze, or repurpose this audio for AI training is explicitly prohibited.